What's going on, people? I am Swavor, and this is Opinionated Facts. Today I have with me
Cola. CC, also Journey to be Great.
And it's Elliot.
Mr. Elliot.
Yeah, always gotta add the Mister. Let them know.
Okay, so we got a bunch of stuff we're going to talk to you about today. I guess I'll go first, and I guess you can kind of blend in with me too, because we kind of had the same thing in mind that we was going to talk about it. We got to talk about R. Kelly. What you think about that? What's going on with R. Kelly, man? He just got 30 years.
Crazy. So R. Kelly, like you said, got 30 years for his involvement in sex trafficking. I believe the sentence was last week. If you haven't followed R. Kelly's career, he has been found multiple times to either underage girls, or he's been found trying to not prostitute them, but influence them to be his sexual slave in a way. Now, me personally, I don't have a problem with him getting sentenced. He should have. He should have got the 30 years. My biggest issue is the other kids' parents. I just feel like they knew what it was. Like I said, this has been going back for years, since the 90s. I mean, he was even rumored that, and I don't even know if it's so much rumor because there's so much stuff came out now that it's pretty much the fact that, he had some type of involvement or relationship with the late singer Aaliyah at the time when she was underage as well. They've even had songs where, they've been talking in a sexual nature, not necessarily name dropping each other, but now when you know that, you can put two and two together. But the main problem, like I said, is that the parents should also get some type of sentence. Everybody already knew, and it just doesn't seem like that nobody cared. It didn't seem like anybody had anything to say about it up until now. We have this, this current movement going on. And it's like, it's good that you're trying to correct, past sins, but at the same time, this man has been doing this for about 20 years, 30 years. So where was the concern then? What do you guys feel about that?
Well, so what I thought was interesting about the case is they said that, I don't know if you saw that part too, where it was talking about during the case, R. Kelly's defense was handed a DVD where it had an actual DVD of him having sex with an underage girl. I don't know if y'all saw that. And I think that was kind of like the nail in the coffin. And I think that's where it was like, yeah, he's gonna have to do these 30 years. And then there was one woman in particular that was highlighted in the case where she was talking about how R. Kelly actually had just got through playing baseball with some of his friends, and he had her to give him oral sex in front of his friends, I guess, while all of them were in a car. And I was just like, man, that is just so crazy, because it's easy to say he deserves or doesn't deserve the time, but then we got to say, if you was that woman and you just had to replay that in your mind all over and over and over again, like how that must make her feel. Even though I will say I understand what she may feel, is some people actually getting less time that he got for doing crimes that some people would think would be worse than what he actually did. So it's just kind of hard to say, I guess, how I feel about the situation. So, I mean, what do you guys think?
I mean, I agree. I don't know if you can necessarily prove it per se that the parents knew, but I don't really know how you can't, because this is something, Elliot was saying, like, this has been going on. I mean, everybody, like, this is one of those rumored type of situations that, everybody's been hearing about him since like the 90s with Aaliyah. It was rumored then that they had gotten married and everything. And I remember when that documentary came out, I think on I think it was Lifetime, when it came out with like all of the different accusers and everything, and it was stated then. Now, her mother, and I'm a huge Aaliyah fan, so rest in peace, baby girl, but her mother even kind of negated that as well. Like, she was like, that's not true, da, 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 which I understand, you don't want anybody bringing that up if that was the case. But there were several people on that documentary that were in his camp that even, talked about how they went and got married and all of that. So I remember it was another family, or I want to say it was a mom and a dad, and the way in which their daughter met him was at a concert. And like, I think the mom had got the dad concert tickets for like his birthday or something like that, and they all went. And the daughter wanted to be a singer, and they allowed her to go up on, or he called her up on stage. Like, he spotted her in the audience or something like that and called her up on stage. And the dad even said, like, at that time, like, I was kind of concerned. I didn't really like that he called her up on stage. I had heard about R. Kelly, da da da. And it's like, well, sir, why would you even take your daughter to the concert? Like, I mean, so it was just interesting because that from then on, the daughter started spending time with him, supposedly being mentored. And then the next thing you know, I believe that was the same family that had not seen their daughter in years because she was with him. So the parents are definitely to blame in some of these situations. And so I agree, as well. But at the end of the day, it's messed up. It's sad for the women, obviously, that were involved. But at the end of the day, he's the main one. Because even if they offered their daughters up to him on a platter, like, he doesn't need to partake, obviously.
Yeah, I do believe that about the parents. I would have also liked to have seen some of the people that helped him do this for so many years also face some type of charges as well, because he didn't do this alone. Like I said, this has been going on for years. He had people scouting out young girls for him, so it was other adults that seen this and just kind of, turned away. And, of course, when the documentary people, talk about what they seen, but they were there, you were watching it, you just kind of let it go on. So for me, yeah, like he's serving his time because, like I said, he got away with it for so many years, and so many young girls are damaged behind this. And yeah, like I don't feel sorry about the sentencing.
So, okay. So kind of switching gears, but not really in a sense. I don't know if you guys have heard, but Brittney Griner, she has been in custody in Russia for about 4 months now. So basically, just kind of backtracking a little bit. I think it was back in February. She was in Russia and she was arrested by like customs or whatever because she was suspected of having drug paraphernalia in her bag or in her possession. So they arrested her at that time, and she's been in custody since then. If you can just imagine with everything that's going on as it is, Russia is not the place that you want to be in custody. So everyone has been like really worried about her, because it's like they just, want to try to get her back over here at least, and Russia is just not having it or whatever. This past week, her trial started. I think like it was just like the pre-trial or whatever, but it's gonna continue on July 7th. And right now she's facing up to 10 years in Russian prison for this. And again, and what it was a significant amount of cannabis oil, actually. So yeah, so like everybody's like really concerned because they're worried about her treatment and everything. Brittney Griner's like really tall. I think she's like 6'9". They were talking about how she has to be transported like to and from court. Her wife was talking and she was saying that she has to be transported in like this really small like cage, basically. It said that she was transported in this cage with like a bag of cookies and a bottle of water, which sounds pretty awful. And I'm not, I know the rules are the rules and, laws. And, when you're overseas, you definitely want to try and obey, whatever country you're in, you want to obey their laws because these people do not play. But it's like, bruh, cannabis oil, like, I need y'all to calm down. A cage, like, it's not, So I'm concerned. I'm not I don't watch basketball like that or anything like that. But at the end of the day, this is a Black woman, and they're treating her like she just was out here, moving weight, by the pound or whatever. And it's like, it's just not that serious. So have y'all heard about this? What do y'all think?
Well, I did hear about it, and I feel the exact same way you do, and two, you need to figure out some way to get her from over there. Is because she has a wife, she's a lesbian. I feel like the whole thing is basically trying to make an example out of her.
Right.
But that's how I feel. How do y'all feel about it?
I mean, for me, the punishment definitely does not fit the crime. But it just seemed like one of those things, like getting arrested out the country. It just always been like something that's super scary because the laws, the prisons, all that stuff. It's just, I don't know, just something I definitely wouldn't want to get caught in that situation. But I just don't feel it's justified.
I think it's a case of just wrong place, wrong time, man. I just hate it for her because I can only imagine what it's like for the countries to be going through what we're going through right now. And then, it's kind of like she's like just somebody just kind of caught up in it in some way. You know what I mean? Like, I know she has nothing to do with the war itself, but just for you to just be there during this time, one of the worst times.
Right.
And to your point, though, a lot of people will ask, why are you over there? But one problem is a lot of WNBA players, when their season's over, if they go over there, That being because they don't get paid the same, anywhere near the same as, you know, the other like NBA athletes. I think the lowest paid NBA athlete, he'll probably make I think the lowest he'll make is probably like $1 million or something like that. I don't know the specific number, but it's around there. But the lowest paid athlete actually makes more than the highest paid one in the WNBA. That's a crazy thing. And a lot of times they even have to book their own flights. They have to, you know, catch rides. On one end, you can say, why would you go over there at this time? But, you know, when you've been training your whole life and this is your livelihood, and, you know, you're not making as much as you should be making. I mean, sometimes your decision making, you know, whether something is dangerous kind of goes out the window.
You gotta do what you gotta do to survive. What you saying?
Exactly. You gotta do it. What it is. You gotta do what you gotta do. And unfortunately, she just got caught in this situation. And, you know, I hope she gets out of that.
So I pray and hope that she remains safe over there. She keeps her head up, and hopefully we can get her back stateside at least. You know, again, I understand, you know, if you commit a crime that, you know, you gotta, you know, do the time, so to speak. But good Lord, not 10 years worth. What y'all got?
So I came across this story that went viral. It's about a mother of 4. She was on one of those social media platforms, I think TikTok, but I'm not really sure. But anyway, she said she wanted to expose her child's father because he pulled up with McDonald's for just his child. I've seen comments where she has 4 different baby fathers. I'm not sure how many there is, but he pulled up with McDonald's for his child. So she said she wanted to expose him because he should have bought food for her other 3 children. And so they went back and forth, and she finally accepted the food and she threw it on the ground. And was just saying that if he can't get food for all 4 of his all 4 of her children, then don't bring anything. And so, like, it just went viral because, you know, people were talking about her behavior and she was wrong. And yeah, it was a lot. So he was just saying, you know, that's not his responsibility. He's coming, you know, pulling up with his food for his child. And, you know, he can, you know, because she was, like I said, she was complaining, but he was, you know, trying to suggest his son can come to the car and eat, since she felt like, you know, she didn't want him eating in front of his siblings. And she was just like, no, that's not happening. He's not eating. You know, if all of them can't get it, then he can't get it. So it was like I said, it went viral because a lot of people took issue with her stance about feeding the rest of her children that didn't belong to him. So what's your opinion?
No. Yeah, no. I got to get off my chest because I saw this first too. I mean, come on, man. I mean, it's a whole thing to say because you if I was one of those kids and I'm sitting there and my brother, my sister like over there eating, I'm hungry. It might start a war in there. So I mean, I got to say that from the kid's standpoint, that's pretty messed up. But from his standpoint, being the father, I'm sure that he probably, you know, he's not doing that like out of spite, like I'm gonna go and I'm gonna let the rest of them be hungry and I'm just gonna get something for my child. But really, it is true. That's his responsibility, his child. And it's not his fault that she slept with all these other people and got all these other kids. That's not on him. So I think that she do need to, you know, check herself a little bit and understand it's not his fault. And then by you throwing the food on the ground, I didn't hear that part.
I didn't either. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's like, okay, fine, give it to me, and then she threw it on the ground.
Well, why? How come she just didn't take it and then divide it up? Why did she do that?
Wow.
Well, it's not gonna go a long way with 4 kids.
Hey, you know, but
I
agree with that. But I'm saying though, like, look at it this way though. I mean, hey, I'd rather get 2 fries than no fries.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, hey.
Well, I mean, okay, here's my question, and that would have did it, all of that. Okay, first of all, it's so much to say. First of all, she was wrong. I mean, she was just completely wrong. I do understand her point as far as the other children feeling left out and everything. I completely get that. However, that is where you come in as a mother. Where is your funds? Where is, like, I think she mentioned in the video, you know, I don't get my food stamps until the 7th. Okay, you need to correctly allocate your food stamps, and use them to cook for your children. She also mentioned, and I mean, maybe she didn't really mean it literally, but she also mentioned that every day, she said every day he brings food or whatever for my one child and not for the rest, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so if in fact it is every day, sis, does your stove not work? Does your microwave not work? Like, a matter of fact, you can make cold sandwiches. Like, what are you doing as their mother? Like, that's not his responsibility. Like, his responsibility is his son. And then she would have something else to say if he didn't pull up at all. You know,
Right.
so it's like, if he didn't do anything at all, at least he's doing what he's supposed to be doing, and he's making sure that his child eats. The other children are not his responsibility. So she sounded really entitled. She sounded like one of the kids. She sounded really bratty. It was just sad and disgusting to see. So, and then the know that she threw the food on the ground, like, I'm not for, any kind of domestic violence or whatever, but she could have got popped, because why would you do that? That man, and then on top of that, we don't know. Now she knows, but we don't know what else that man has going on. He could be remarried with other kids of his own, and then coming out of, and bringing food for this child. So he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. She needs to do what she's supposed to do as a mother and take care of the children that she had, because at the end of the day, like he said, that's not his responsibility. They're your responsibility.
And that's when you mention entitlement, that's the issue I had with it. Because I get not, the one child eating in front of the other kids. I get how that can, come across to the children. But for her to feel entitled that he had to do that, that's the part I didn't like. Like for me, if I know some kids there, like I would, like I heard somebody say, get a pizza or whatever, I would do something like that. Like I said, I don't, so everybody has something to eat. Of course, she wouldn't have anything, but yeah, for the kids, yeah, I can get a piece or whatever. But that was the part that I didn't like the whole entitlement of it. And so she ended up doing a response video also, and was saying that the reason that she felt that way, because when they were together, he used to buy the kids food, and now that they're no longer together, he's only bringing his child food. And then she goes on to say that, they still mess around occasionally. So she feels that he can still bring the other kids food, since there's something they used to him, they know him. And, she didn't feel that was right.
Well, I didn't know about all that details. I mean, I agree. I agree with y'all with what y'all are saying. I can see how, especially if you're still messing around. Now, you're still messing around with a lady, and before, y'all weren't, when y'all were together, you were giving the kids food and everything. Yes, he could have called and been like, hey, he could do it every now. He don't have to do it all the time, because again, those aren't his kids. It's not a responsibility. But yeah, sometimes he could, just out of the kindness of his heart. He doesn't have to, but it would be nice if he did ask, hey, do you want me to, I'm going by McDonald's to give little man some. Do ask them, do they want some too? That's the only thing that you can say. And who's to say that he doesn't do that? He could do it sometimes, but he could do it every now and then. So it's who's to say he's not doing that. Well, my biggest problem with it is, all she had to do, she could have just asked. I mean, if he's bringing food, I mean, has she ever stopped him and be like, hey, so can you bring them sometimes, stuff like that? Had they had that conversation, or are you just blowing up and everything? Are you just causing a scene and making it a big deal?
Well, I want to say this: he may have a little more kindness than he got money. So having kindness in his heart and not too many dollars in the pocket, man, he probably did what he could.
Right.
I don't like that she recorded it either. I don't know. It just really disturbs me. I don't like that.
She did it to make a scene.
That's it.
Now he looks stupid.
Social media clout. Another issue I took away from this story is that, okay, if she does have 4 different baby daddies, I wonder, like, why, and this happens quite often, why isn't marriage a requirement before the child? I mean, maybe the first time, second time, but you just to continuously keep having these children with different men and don't require marriage at all. That part I don't get either.
Yeah,
well, it's the same thing with Nick. I told you that, that tax refund, I told you that, that I was working at a bank, right? And, I had 4 kids and, they're looking for that tax refund check, they bring it in to get it cashed or whatever. And the check be like 15,000, 20,000. So, I mean, it's sad, but all jokes aside, it's true. You do have some people out there that they're literally having kids just to, get that money so they don't necessarily have to work as hard as they should, because they're not doing anything with the kids. They're just collecting the check. They're spending the check on themselves. I mean, how many times have you seen kids who they look raggedy, their hair not combed, clothes not good clothes or ripped and stuff like that, and then you'll have the parents and they hair all sharp, you know what I'm saying? They got the newest clothes, they got Gucci on and all that stuff or whatever, but then your kids all thrown away. So it happens.
Well, I'd like to know what the people think. So thank y'all so much for listening to us today. Let us know what you guys think about any of the topics that we had today in the comments below. Again, I'm with the panel. I'm Swavor. This is Opinionated Facts. Until next time, peace.